Welcome back to the Us versus Them channel. I'm your host Vince, and we're to break down the next fight for the upcoming UFC 322 card. We got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Right now, Leon Edwards is sitting at a plus 154 underdog, and Prates is at a minus 200 favorite. Before we get into the breakdown, if I can just remind you guys, hit the like on this video, subscribe to the channel. We're starting to get close to our next milestone of 75 subscribers, so we really appreciate everybody that subscribes and watches our stuff. So yeah, after that, let's just get into this breakdown. When you're looking at the record of both of these guys, one thing you'll notice is they have pretty similar amounts of pro MMA experience, but one thing that really separates them is the high-level MMA experience. Edwards has 19 UFC bouts, whereas Carlos Prates only has 6 UFC fights. So Leon Edwards has fought higher level competition for a lot longer. So the competition, past competition experience is definitely going to lie with Leon Edwards. Another important thing to note, if you look at the past 5 opponents for Leon Edwards, you got Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad, Colby Covington, and Kamaru Usman twice. All those guys are grapplers. So this is the first time he's going to face a striker, somebody that's not going to shoot a takedown pretty much at all in a long time. So that's probably going to be a welcoming, change of pace for Leon Edwards, I would imagine. No threat for a takedown, just letting him be able to flow between his striking and grappling as he wants. I think that'll allow Edwards to kind of enable him to show a little bit more offense than we've seen him show in his past couple fights. Another important difference in this fight is that this is the first fight in 8 fights in a row where Leon Edwards is scheduled to fight only 3 rounds. 8 fights in a row, he was scheduled to fight 5 rounds. Whether that was because he's a UFC champ, and obviously you're UFC champ, you're guaranteed 5 rounds, or he's headlining just a fight night. Whether it's a Vegas card or whatever it is. So 8 fights in a row, he's been scheduled to fight 5 rounds, and now we're going to a 3-round fight. So I'm not really sure how if that's gonna help him or be a disadvantage. Obviously, the gas tank is probably not going to be an issue for him. So we're cutting the last 2 rounds off. But there could be a pacing issue with that as well. We have seen in the past where guys who fight 5 rounds and they switch to a 3-round fight, they get used to the pacing of a 5-round fight, and all of a sudden, if you drop the first round in a 3-round fight, now your back's already against the wall. In a 5-round fight, you drop the first round, not the end of the world. So, yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on about that, but it's just something important to note. I think the biggest difference, though, for Leon Edwards in this fight is that the fact that he's facing a knockout threat like Carlos Prates. Obviously, Carlos Prates doesn't have the wrestling threats that the past opponents for Edwards have, but what he does have is the knockout threat. So I think Leon Edwards might have a certain cadence or a certain rhythm that he's gotten in the octagon where he doesn't really have to feel that threat or that pressure of someone to be able to just turn your lights out, boom, just like that. He hasn't had to face that pressure in a really long time. So I think that's where the biggest difference is between Carlos Prates and past opponents for Leon Edwards. And I think that's where potentially Leon Edwards might feel a little bit safe, especially in the beginning of this fight. And then once Carlos Prates touches him, that's where the fight's going to get really exciting. Prates is a very high level, striker. He's, like I said, he's a very versatile KO artist. That's probably the best way to describe him. He's got a really nice left hand. He's got a nice high kick. But I think the biggest weapon that he has is the knees up the middle. He has the Muay Thai experience, and in past Muay Thai fights, there's a lot of highlight reels of him throwing that long knee up the middle, and we've also seen him do that in his MMA experience, and we've even seen him do that in the UFC. I think those knees up the middle are going to be dangerous, and they're definitely going to play a factor in this fight. I think Leon Edwards is going to try to probably come into this fight and try to look to strike, and I think early on, even in the first couple of minutes, he's going to realize that he's in there with somebody that is just a little bit more dangerous than he's used to. He's going to look to go to plan B, which is the grappling. And I think that's where the likelihood of him catching a knee is going to go up a lot. And if he catches even one of those knees from Prates, it could be game over. To be honest with you, when I'm playing this fight out in my head, I just see so many different ways where Prates finds a KO. Not even just with the knees, like I said, left hands, high kicks, the body shots even. There's just a lot of different ways where he finds the KO. For a guy, fighting a guy like Leon Edwards who's never been KO'd, I shouldn't feel this confident in the fact that I think that Carlos Prates is going to get it done, and he's going to get it done by knockout. So for my official prediction, give me Carlos Prates by knockout. That prop is sitting at plus 165, and that's got pretty decent value. That's all I got for you guys in this breakdown. Stop by for our next video where I'm going to break down Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. This fight is definitely going to be guaranteed violence. It's going to be sick. So it's going to be really exciting. So that's all I got for you guys, and I'm the fuck out of here.